All right, look at this. We can actually get started on time today.
Look at us. Welcome back, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Happy New Year. Some of you we've seen, some of you we haven't. Thanks for being here, everybody. You snuck in, I didn't even see you. I'm Sian.
I'm Jesse. Nice to meet anybody that's new, and nice to have everybody back that's a return customer, which is always fun to have.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. Couple of golden rules before we dive in. You may have already read this on emails, etc. 3 things that we really want you guys to just always have in mind throughout the course, whether you're working with us here or doing your homework. Number 1 is we don't push through pain. I know some of you guys have told me on your forms that you're already working with like little things that have been bugging you or reoccurring niggles. Just really be aware of those and be careful not to push into any sensations of pinching or sharpness, especially on what we call the closing side of a joint. So if I'm stretching this way, this is the opening side of the stretch. And this is the side that's getting shorter. This is what we call the closing angle. Just be really aware of any nasty sensations on that side of the joint. If you need modifications, let us know. Simplest solution is usually just to back up out of the range of motion.
Yep.
All right.
Anytime that we're doing something, there's no creating change with 1 rep, so forcing that situation isn't going to make any difference other than potentially put a little extra wear on the joint, which we don't want to do.
Yeah. Second thing, I see that most of you have already jumped into the community and said hi. We will be putting up class recordings in the community. Coming to class is awesome, you're gonna feel good, but you will get even better results if you jump into those class recordings and revisit the stuff that you suck at. If you need help identifying the stuff that you suck at, just ask us. We will tell you what you need to repeat and what you need to work most on. All right, because we appreciate sometimes you don't have time to redo the full class, but we want you to really look at focusing on the things that you need to work on the most.
And that all being said, keep the dialogue open. Any questions along the way, let us know. Happy to try to, again, even during class, if something's coming up, don't like sit there and suffer. Let us know, wave one of us down. There's a reason why we like to have both of us as instructors, is that one of us will always be trying to demonstrate up here at the front, and most of the time I'll be walking around. And anything that you guys might need, you can always flag me down and I'll come and help you adjust.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, and last but not least, you know, we're here for you to use throughout the 10 weeks. We want to leave you in a better place than we found you. So the more you interact with us in class and in the community, ask questions, post videos of your movements, let us know what you want help with. You know, ask the questions. You are really responsible for taking yourself as far as you want to go in these 10 weeks. We're here to help you. So use us, okay?
All right, that all being said, let's jump right in it. This is a cold room, so we're gonna try to get you guys moving as much as we can to warm things up. So, for those that have done the course before, we're just switching up the format a little bit. We're gonna be doing all of our cars, and for those that are new, it's new to you, so it's all gonna be a learning process. So we're gonna connect first. So the first thing that we're gonna do is everybody's gonna drop down onto their hands and knees. We're gonna start off, most of you have probably done cat-cows before. So looking at how the spine moves into flexion and extension, we're gonna start off with this. You're gonna get started and then we're gonna try to tweak this and teach you how to do what are called spine waves. Those that know how to do their spine waves already, jump right into your spine waves. Okay, so Sian's going through it right now. She's going from extension into flexion. Hands are underneath shoulders, knees are underneath hips, and you're just trying to explore how much your spine can go from one to the other. Okay, I'm gonna start a timer. And you're going to warm up that spine, and a nice fact here is that we're getting that central nervous system to move, which is starting to wake up everything else. Okay, so just keep going back and forth. We're gonna do a couple rounds of this today, and each round we're gonna layer in some more control. This one, we're just going back and forth, flexion, extension. No pinching, but we wanna feel flexing. So on the side that's getting shorter, we want to feel a contraction, so that muscle squeezing. And on the side that's getting longer, we want to feel some sense of a stretch. And again, it might not be a big one. It's all good. You're just going through as big a range of motion as you can. We've got about 20 seconds left in this first little set. Every time you hit an end range, I want you to see if you can squeeze for a little bit more. So get all the way into extension and then squeeze those muscles in your back and see if you can get a little bit further. And then go all the way into flexion or rounding your spine towards the ceiling, and then flex your abs a little bit more, seeing if you can go a little bit deeper. Luckily, you're saved by the bell. The timer just went off. So now take a second, come on out of there, and we're going to go into the next one. We're going to go into a sideline hip car. So hopefully you've taken a look at some of the stuff that Sean's been sending you and you've been starting to learn your cars. Now, a hip car, usually we start off standing, but today we're going to do it in a sideline position. But it's a movement that helps us explore the biggest range of motion that the hip has. Sean's here demonstrating it on the side. The easiest way in the first round here, the thing I want you to think about is imagine that there was a pen sticking straight out where your kneecap is. And you're trying to draw the biggest circle with that pen sticking out your knee that your hip can. The thing I want you to watch out for is how much your hips are opening and closing with that bottom side. So a lot of you, as your knee goes up, your hip just flops all the way open and you're opening your pelvis rather than working your hip. So see if you can keep your hips stacked up upon one another. So imagine someone skewered your top hip, so roll just a bit that way, and then try to keep your hips completely stacked as you try to draw that circle. Again, we're just doing this for time, so don't worry about how many reps you're doing. I will say, try to go back and forth, one rep one direction and one rep the other. So just every time you get to the beginning, reverse the direction. Every week we'll be doing cars, and every week we'll layer on details to try to help you understand the nitty-gritty parts of it. 30 seconds left on this side. And for those of you that have done a million cars with us before, don't worry, I'll come and make sure you're not cheating too much.
Same rules apply with the cars, guys. There's always going to be a lengthening side and a shortening side, depending on where you are in the movement. That's going to change. We don't want any pinching or pain in the tissue that's getting shorter. So if you need to reduce your range of motion, or even if you need to skip out a little piece of the car altogether and make that car a lot smaller, that's fine. We just want you working in your pain-free ranges right now.
This is not where we're creating change. This is where we're connecting to where we're starting from. All right, one more rep each way, and then we're going to switch over to the other hip and do the other side. All right, once you're done that rep, just flip over onto the other hip, and let's get it started on the second side. Ready, set, and begin. So, don't forget to squeeze your butt, try to go back as far as you can. Then you're lifting up over top, and then coming around. And then in the front, scoop that floor, and then open it up, and then around. There we go. Hopefully you're starting to feel a little bit of heat starting to warm up in that hip. This is getting the nervous system going and also helping us kind of see the way your hip is moving and where you need the attention. Hopefully it's also helping you see where your hip isn't moving. All right, finish the rep that you're on. And once you're done that, you can come up either into a tall seated position or a standing position, just somewhere where you can be nice and tall, vertical spine, where you're not worried about anything else.
Yeah, if you can't kneel, just stand up, guys, that's fine.
Yeah, standing
Everyone's
is no
standing,
problem.
I'll stand.
And now we're going to get into the shoulders. So there's three big areas that we focus on in this course because they're where most of the areas show up anyways for most people is the shoulder, spine, and hip. So the last spot we're going to get into is the global shoulder car. Now, if you've watched those videos that Sean sent you, hopefully you've done your shoulder car before. But again, the easiest first layer of this is without moving any other part of your body, you're just trying to draw the biggest circle that you possibly can with that shoulder itself. And try to keep your elbow as straight as possible. Don't move through any pinching or pain. Just explore what is the biggest range of motion that you can do. And again, every time you finish a rep, go back the opposite direction. There we go. Notice what your shoulder wants to do as it explores that space. And what it doesn't want to do. There we go. And again, this is our first class, so if you're new, don't worry. You're going to have to do a lot of cars. By the time you're done, you're going to know these very, very well.
Basically, week 1, guys, if you didn't review your cars before class, week 1 homework is to really get into doing those cars every day.
Absolutely. We always recommend cars every day. They are the equivalent of brushing your teeth for the rest of your joints. So they help us maintain them by creating circulation and connection through the nervous system, but they also a self-assessment as well as an external assessment. So they allow us to see how your joint is functioning, and they also allow you to feel and see how your joints are functioning. All right, second side, finish the rep you're on, and then go over to that other arm. Ready? And begin.
Biggest circle you can, guys. So don't forget to include, a lot of people forget to include the space
in the front.
In the front of you.
Literally just about to say that too.
Yeah, I just say a lot of people skip that. So my circle, if I want it to be the biggest circle possible, I've got to include all this space in the front.
And the hard part is trying to isolate that shoulder so that the whole rest of your body isn't moving along with it. So again, this is an exaggeration, but if your shoulder is really tight, it's very tempting to let the rest of your body pretend it's your shoulder. So really try to keep your core tight, try to keep those hips from moving, try to stop your ribs from getting involved. Really try your best to isolate the shoulder.
Your cars are going to be one of the most significant markers for noticing improvement throughout the course, guys. So if you're doing them regularly, really just make a note today of how they feel.
Finish the rep you're on.
And hopefully as that 10 weeks, as we get through the course, they're going to feel very different by the end of the course.
All right, so we've ran through our 3 cars once each. We're going to go through one more round of each. So as soon as you've done your last shoulder, you're going to come back down to the hands and knees. And we're going to introduce the idea of a bit more control here. So the first round, we simply did some cat-cows, as most people know them by, and we were just going flexion extension. This time, we still are going to go from one to the other, but it's in the transition from one to the other that the control comes in. Okay, so now Sian starts off in this flex position. She's going to try to initiate the movement from her hips like a wave or dominoes, falling as she tries to go into extension as close to one vertebrae at a time as she can. Now, no one can actually move one vertebrae at a time, but we're trying. That's the long-term goal. Once she gets to extension, then we come back to the hips and she's going to try to tuck her tailbone, and like one vertebrae at a time or one step at a time, she's trying to go into flexion. So again, the ends are the same. It's how we get from one to the other that changes. We're just trying to create more control. For some of you, you're looking at this and you're like, hell, I don't think I can, just going from one position to the other is hard. That's fine. For those, you can break this down into as many or as few segments as you want. So we're going to show that's a full spine wave. Where a lot of you can start, though, is now thinking about the spine literally 2 segments. So Sian's going to move her lower back into extension. Then she's going to move her upper back into extension. Then she's going to move her lower back into flexion. Then she's going to move her upper back into flexion. So that's, if you're getting started, try just 2 segments. If that gets easier, then you can go lower, middle, upper. Okay? And then lower, middle, upper. All right? And you can continue to break down the spine into as many or as few segments as what works for you right now. All right, so come back into that tabletop position. We're going for time, so don't worry about how many reps you get. If you're new to it, start off with just lower and upper. If you're getting a little better at that, then go lower, middle, upper. If you're getting better at that, maybe you break it into 4 sections. After 4, you might as well go into trying to find the wave.
As long as it doesn't hurt you to do so, guys, Do your best to keep your elbows straight.
Yes. As soon as you notice your elbows wanting to bend, that's a signal that your shoulders are trying to compensate for your upper back.
So, follow my fingers, follow my fingers, follow my fingers. That's it.
For those that aren't new to spine waves, I want to see you really looking for that wave.
Yeah, good.
Keep that chin up.
Good. Squeeze
There you
those
go.
abs,
Now
squeeze
tuck
those
the
abs,
tailbone.
nice. And then start right down here. See if we can start with the bottom part of the spine. It is a brain teaser. Yeah, definitely. We're trying to get you to connect to stuff that you possibly haven't connected to in a while, and it's difficult. It won't come immediately. That's it. Now think about squeezing this stuff.
Keep going.
Now this stuff, and then finally look up. That's it. Keep your eyeballs glued to the sky as best you can, and then see if you can tuck that pelvis under. Yeah, there you go. Keep trying to tuck, keep trying to tuck, keep trying to round. That's it. Squeeze those abs, squeeze the chest, squeeze front of the chin.
Hold in that position, but now look
That's
up
it,
at the
good.
ceiling. So
And
get
then
the whole
keep your
body into
eyeballs
extension.
glued to the
So
space between your
everything's
hands
lifted.
as best
There
you
we go,
can,
much as you can.
and
Now
try
think
to
down here,
tilt
tuck
this
that
pelvis.
tailbone.
That's it, so
And then,
extend.
like, feel my fingers
So
as they
this
walk
way.
up, and you're
That's
trying to
it.
push into my
That's
fingers.
it. Yeah, you're getting it. You're getting it. You're getting it. It's tough.
That's right.
It is really hard at
And
first.
then
Don't worry.
once you're
You're
here,
not
now
doing
think
anything wrong.
tailbone up to the ceiling.
We're just this
There
is
we go, and, like,
this is
feel
part of the
those
training,
fingers
right?
walking
It's
up
trying to
the
help you
spine.
reconnect to stuff that
Oh, I said keep going. We're almost there.
isn't,
This is
isn't
definitely
moving so good.
homework.
Well done. You're doing great.
Practice this one as much as you can. It doesn't need to be, for
Nice,
8 minutes at a time,
looking
but
really
even
good.
in the morning,
Good.
sometime in the middle of the day, and sometime in the evening, even if you
Nice.
just address this, start to build a better
Here.
relationship with your spine.
That's it. Not the head yet. Not the head yet.
All right.
That's it. That's
Finish
it.
the rep
That's
you're
it.
on.
That's it. Good. Well done.
Okay, now we're gonna go back to that sideline, and we're gonna go into that sideline hip car. So, in the first round, all we thought of was pen sticking out the knee, draw the biggest circle that you can. Keep with that intention, but now there's some rotational parts that we want you to start to add into here.
Feel free to look if you've never done
Yeah.
these before, guys. Just watch.
If you're new, then in that front part, we're trying to work on what's called external rotation. So in the front part of that circle, Sean's trying to scoop the floor with her foot, keeping as much what we call external rotation as possible. Then she's gonna open, and you're gonna hit a point where you just can't move anymore unless that foot tries to overtake the knee. So that means that the foot starts to get behind the knee. And we go into what's called internal rotation. And in the backspace, internal rotation is what we want to try to dominate. And then we reverse, internal rotation stays, and then as soon as we get stuck, we have to bring it into external rotation. So first layer is think pen and knee and draw the biggest circle you can. Second layer is external rotation in the front half, internal rotation in the back half. All right? So think about that while you try to draw that big circle. All right? Ready? And begin. Timer is going.
The reason why those rotational components are key, guys, is because your hip is a rotational joint. So we're trying to get you to try to access as much of that hip joint as you can, and rotation is what's required in order to really get into all the nooks and crannies.
Then that rotation starts to come in. Don't worry, if you've never tried to connect to your joints this intently,
Oh, I love the
we're gonna teach you. That's what this 12 weeks is gonna be about, or 10 weeks rather, is building a much better relationship with each joint and how to not only make it move better, but make it feel stronger and be healthier.
Nice, Pat, well done, that's good, you're getting the idea. The back part's the hard part for most of us. Yeah?
And the better we get at the connection each
Yeah,
week,
good,
the
good,
less
reach,
time
reach,
we
reach.
have to spend there and the more time we get to spend in the other areas. All right, finish the rep you're on.
You avoiding that pain in that right hip? Yeah, good.
And then flip over to the other side
Good.
and start that car on the second side. Ready, set, and begin.
Nice, guys. I'm seeing good attempts at external rotation in the front. That internal rotation in the back is what 90% of us need to work on.
I'm gonna say that's 99%.
99% of us need to work on, yeah. And that includes me. It's tough, it's really tough.
And if your brain is jumping through hoops right now trying to figure out this movement, that's the reason why the way we run this course is we have 3-week waves. So we're starting wave 1 today, which means we have 2 more weeks where we're gonna use these same motions and just continue to build familiarity and layers of difficulty. So that no matter where you are, you'll be able to find the intensity that works best for you. All right, finish the rep that you're on. And then stand on up for our shoulder cars. So again, layer 1 with the shoulder car was just draw the biggest circle you can. Layer 2 with the shoulder car now is the same idea as with the hip, but we're gonna think about where the bicep is pointing or where the tricep is pointing, whatever part of your arm your brain connects to better. In the front half, you're gonna think about that bicep trying to point up. In the back half, you're gonna try to turn that bicep and point it down, or again, if it's the tricep that's easier for you to connect to, it's tricep up in the back and tricep down in the front. That just depends on what, because everybody's brain likes to connect to different muscles easier. So think about that in terms of, in the front, I want my bicep facing up. In the back, I want my bicep facing down. In the back, or in the front, I'd want my tricep facing down. And in the back, I'd want my tricep facing up. Whatever works better for your brain. Timer is going. Again, already I'm seeing people opening up the shoulders by twisting their spine. Try to keep your core nice and tight and see if you can let the shoulder do the work and everything else stay tight but still. Good. See some good concentration faces.
Right, yeah. Having a good old explorer of that shoulder joint.
Tricep up, yeah. And then twist, twist, twist. Bicep up. Perfect. Remember to come across the body if you can. Right on. Good. Look for the core being nice and tight and try not to overextend. A lot of us, the second we try to get our arm behind us, our back starts to backbend or extend as if we were trying to pretend we could get that arm farther back. Keep your abs really tight. All right, finish the rep you're on. Good, that was one arm, right?
That was one arm. Yeah.
All right, second side, ready, set, and go. Sometimes I talk so much I forget what we're doing. Watch for the elbow bending also. Those are the two big compensations that we'll see, is twisting of the spine and extracurricular movement in the spine, or the elbow bending. This is gonna sound like a weird cue, but everybody squeeze your butt a bit more. Creating tension in the rest of the body is gonna keep the nervous system more alert and help you connect to more fibers in the shoulder. Intensity is any extra demand on the system. So squeeze your butt, squeeze your abs. See if you can focus on your breathing. Anything you can do to add a little extra tension into the system will increase the nervous system's intensity. All right, finish the rep that you're on.
All right, last round of cars.
All right, that was the last of the cars. So we've connected. Now we're going to expand. We're going to go into some stretching, and we're trying to create some new space. So in wave one, we're focusing on flexion of the spine, abduction of the hips, and extension in the shoulder. So for flexion of the spine is that ability to round the spine. So we're going to give you two options, whichever one gives you a better sensation of stretch. Option number one is good old classic child's pose. If you've been to yoga class before, in this position, we're trying to keep that spine as rounded as possible, butt heavy on the heels, head is trying to come down. Arms can honestly be in whatever position gives you the best comfort here. And in week one, we're just doing this passively. So we're just trying to find as much of a stretch through any part of that back that we can. If this position doesn't feel great for you, or maybe your knees don't like it or your hips don't like it, any form of sitting fold will also work. Bending the knees helps most people be able to get a little bit more out of their lower back. So Sean's grabbing her feet. You can also put your arms under your legs and hug your legs, but we're focusing on the rounding of the back and trying to feel some sensation back there. So try either one of those positions or both until you find something that gives you a relatively decent stretch in that back.
A cue that you can use for both positions is you're trying to pull your nose towards your pubic bone and your pubic bone towards your nose.
Right, ready and go. So we're going to introduce you into the length of time we like to hold things for and the length of time we like to work in, which is 2 minutes. If you're new to us, you may have never held a stretch for 2 minutes ever. So this could be a very intense thing for you. If you've been with us, you know that 2 minutes is just the starting block. Breathe while you're here. Week 1, we're just doing this passively. But in the next couple weeks, we're going to teach you what else can be done while you're here. Anytime that you're doing a passive stretch, there's things you want to scan for. Where do I feel it the most? And where do I not feel it at all? Those are 2 things that we always want to try to look for. If it's a really intense, sharp sensation, that's generally a sign that that tissue is being overstretched or overworked. That's not a bad thing necessarily, but the question is, why are you feeling it more there and you're not feeling it the same everywhere else? The most healthy tissue, when you're in the stretch, you'll feel, if it's as healthy as it possibly can be, you're going to feel a decent stretch throughout the whole tissue, from the top to the bottom. If that's not what you're feeling, then any contrast in this part I feel way more or this part I feel nothing, that's what we're trying to balance out. We're trying to make the spots that you don't feel at all feel like they're getting a stretch, so that we can even things out, because then all the tissue is doing its job. 10 more seconds here. In this last 10 seconds, focus on 1 deep breath in and 1 even deeper breath out. Use the exhale to see if you can get a little bit deeper. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly coming out of that position. Okay, from our spinal flexion stretch, we're going to go into our groin stretch. 2 options for this one.
You guys are probably going to want to turn your mats to the side. You're going to want some cushioning underneath your knees for this. I'm used to doing it, so I can do it on the floor, but...
So option number 1, and if this is accessible to you, we recommend this position. It's just a better position if you can actually get into it. If you can't, we're going to give you another option as well. So option number 1 is frog. Frog, we're going to take our knees as wide as we can from a tabletop position. Once we can't get the knees any wider, we're going to take the feet as wide as the knees, and then we're going to drop our chest towards the floor. Again, this is groin stretch. We're going for any good sensations and groin stretching from the inside of the knee all the way to the pubic bone. Again, if this is not a friendly spot for you because either your knees don't like it or any other part of your body is just way too uncomfortable to be there, then butterfly is the next best option. Okay, so sitting and then pushing those knees down. Okay, going for that groin stretch.
You do have blocks, guys. We are going to be here for 2 minutes, so if having a block underneath your chest makes this a little bit more accessible, please feel free to use it, or even 2 blocks.
And like Sean said, generally knees are the most uncomfortable part of this, so make sure you've got some good padding underneath those knees.
Yeah, you can double up your mat if you need to. Steal an extra mat. There's plenty of mats lying around.
If you can, shift your hips forward.
Good. And then
Try
once
to
you're
keep
in there,
your hips right between the knees, so even more forward, even more forward, even more even more forward.
Once you're
right
in there,
there.
think
That's the
pelvis
spot.
lines up between the knees as best you can.
We want the knees, and if I'm looking at you from straight above you, I want to see a straight line from your knees through your hips, lower back, all the way over to your other knee. All right? That's what I'm looking for. Unless your pubic bone is on the floor, but I don't see anybody that's in that position right now. So let's just work on getting those knees wider. And again, if you decided to do the butterfly position, which is also a great position, make sure that you're applying a little bit of load with your elbows or your hands and really trying to allow those knees to be encouraged towards the ground.
This is pretty intense first time for most people, guys, so deep breaths.
As you get more familiar with stretching, you'll learn that passive stretching is sometimes the hardest kind of stretching, because you have to put yourself in a position that your body really doesn't want to be relaxed in. But then you're trying to make it relax. And making something relax is a very difficult thing to do. Breathe. That's how we work on it. Everybody think about breathing in for a 3 or 4 count and breathing out for a 5 or 6 count. So you're breathing out longer than you breathe in. Keep going. We've got 10 more seconds here. Practice that kind of breathing. 3, 2, 1, and slowly come on out of there.
Support yourself with your hands, bring your big toes together, and then push up and bring your knees together, guys. Getting out of that one is often harder than getting in.
It can be, for sure. If you're not used, and we're putting you into this 2-minute time frame because 2 minutes is the shortest amount of time that you need to hold a stretch if you want to access more space. Okay? You don't have to do it all in one go, but we like to give it to you so you start to feel, and it gives you time to actually feel the stretch. All right, now we're gonna go into our shoulder stretch. This one we're doing both arms at the same time, and Sean's setting it up already. So sitting on your butt, hands behind you. Now if you're tight, how far behind you is gonna be determined by how tight you are. Fingers are trying, the word is trying, to face the wall behind you. And you're trying to get your hands as close to each other as you can, okay? So depending on where you are, your hands might be like Sean's, shoulder width, maybe you're a little wider than shoulder width. If you're more flexible, you can even get your pinky fingers to touch. Once you're there, now if that's a huge stretch, you don't have to do anything else. If it's not a huge stretch, then you can do one of two things. You can either walk your hands back or you can walk your butt forward, okay? And then once you get into a nice deep stretch, you're thinking chest up. You can look up or keep your chin tucked, whatever is nicer on your neck.
Just a note here, guys, I know some of you are dealing with elbow issues. You've told me on your forms. Both arms don't have to look the same. If you've got one arm that's dealing with something and being back there doesn't feel comfortable, feel free to take it a little more out to the side and just search for that stretch sensation, okay?
If you're having a hard time getting your hands all the way to the floor, you do have blocks, so you can always put your hands on blocks. Once you've got that, then think about the chest just trying to lift up. Feel that stretch? Perfect. Again, what it looks like on the outside, we're never going to care about. What you feel, though, is way more important. We want to feel this stretch. Biceps, forearms, front of shoulders, chest. Any of those areas, it's good. If you feel this in the back of the elbow or the pointy part of the elbow, back off. Okay, maybe even put a slight bend in your elbow to keep that joint happy. So you want to feel this stretch in all the long space, but we don't want to feel it in the short space. Back of wrist, pointy part of the elbow, or the back of the shoulder. If you're feeling any pinchiness, we want to back off the stretch or adjust the position. 30 seconds left.
Keep those abs on, guys.
If you're wearing your shoulders like earrings right now, see if you can make your neck feel longer. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come on out of there. Okay, take a second. If you've never stretched your bicep like that before, you might feel like you have T-Rex arms and they don't want to move right. Take a second, wiggle your fingers, do some wrist cars. If you don't know what your wrist cars are, just make some circles with your wrist. Move those elbows, do anything to get the joints moving again and getting the blood flowing back into those spaces. Connective tissue is stubborn. The reason why 2 minutes is important to collect, and again, 2 minutes doesn't have to be done all at once, but it does need to be accumulated within a certain amount of time. Connective tissue, the older we get, the more stubborn it gets. So the older you are and the more you want to get more flexible, you're going to have to start getting a good relationship with holding stretches for longer and longer, because that connective tissue needs time to organize, right? Think about it like opening up your junk drawer and having all your headphones tied together back in the day when they had cables. You're going to take some time to untangle all that stuff, right? So you need that time to let that tissue start to let go and stretch. All right, now that we have stretched, we're going to go into some strengthening stuff. And we're going to start off with the spine. Now we worked on lengthening our back, so we're going to focus on strengthening the front. Okay, so today we're going to teach you my favorite core isometric.
Lynn's favorite too.
Yeah, there's a few of you that have done this stretch or this position before. It's called the back body line drill. So step one is we're going to just simply start off with hands and feet above hands and shoulders, or shoulders and hips. My God, I can't talk. So from this position, we start off with keeping our whole spine pushed directly down into the floor. The big thing that's going to happen for most of you as soon as we put the tension in is your lower back is going to want to create this cave under here, and I can slide my arm underneath. We don't want that. We want no space under your lower back at all. We're trying to connect to those really deep spine flexors in the lower abdomen. So you're trying to drive your lower back through the floor. I always tell you, try to imagine you could push your belly button through the ground, okay? Once you've got that back solid on the ground, we make this first more intense by letting the arms go overhead, but only overhead as far as your shoulders let you. Okay, no pinching, no uncomfortableness in the shoulders. This is just to create more tension in the top part of the rib cage. Once your hands are as low as they can go, if you still have your lower back on the floor and you can add more tension, now we're going to start to lower the legs. As soon as your legs hit a level that gives you enough intensity where you're like, ooh, I have to really work to keep my back on the floor, that's as far as you have to go, all right? Legs can be straight or bent. Play around with what allows you to create the most intensity here and the least amount of pinchy sharpness in the lower back while the back is on the floor, all right? So lie on down. Everybody's shape is going to look different. The key here is no one's lower back pops up off the floor.
If you cannot get your shoulders close enough together to hold a block, just ditch the block and reach your hands behind you.
Yeah, you don't have to have a block.
Yeah, I just grabbed that a habit, but you don't have to.
I like how everybody went straight into the hard part. Pause, come out of it, because we're doing this together. I haven't started the timer. So anytime you jump in early, just realize you're just being a superstar and you're getting extra work in. All right, timer. We're all shooting for the hardest 30 seconds that we can. All right, ready, set, find your position. The timer is going. So again, start off arms overhead first. And again, whatever the arms overhead looks like, but the arms overhead first, then drop the legs. There's a reason why the arms have to drop first. They actually help you be able to lower your legs better. They're a counterbalance. Again, I don't want to see any lower backs off the floor. I don't want to see any part of anyone's back off the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. Take a breath. We're going to go on to actually, you know what? I lied. We're going to switch the order up just so that we can make them do a couple rounds, and we'll finish with the hips.
Okay.
So Sian is now going to teach you your first round of standing swimmers.
All standing swimmers. Okay, awesome. All right, come on up, guys.
Don't worry, we're going to come back to that back body line drill. I know a lot of you had a lot of fun there.
I'm sure everyone wants to do it again.
We're going to do it a couple more times. No, I'm not. I like to challenge you, but I like to keep it within the realm of possible.
All right, so your swimmers, remember back to your cars. It's basically the back half of your car with a little bit extra thrown in. We're going to start with hands on the lower back, everything nice and tight in the rest of the body. Now, how much you're able to get your hands round to your lower back is going to depend on your mobility. Some of you might be more like here. That's fine. What's important is I don't want you doing this. Okay, nice straight spine. From here, squeeze shoulder blades together. Then I reach my fists for the back of the room while keeping my shoulder blades squeezing together. Then think back half of your shoulder car, both arms come up into a Y position. I bend my elbows and I try to land my hands on the back of my neck. Again, that might be more like here, depending on your mobility. From here, I'm keeping those ribs down, squeezing shoulder blades together, and reaching my hands for the back of the room again. Keep reaching my hands for the back of the room, open out, perform that rotation. Then I'm going to bend elbows, try to land my hands as high up and as close together as I can. Okay, so join in if you haven't already. Squeeze shoulder blades, reach for the back of the room. Keep reaching for the back of the room. Come on up. Land on the back of the head. Keeping everything nice and tight in the front body. So squeeze, lift, reach. Keep reaching for the back of the room as you rotate. Good. Nice. Squeeze shoulder blades, reach hands, push. Should feel like you're pushing an imaginary weight away from you. Imagine the air around you just turn to syrup, working hard. Rotate, bend elbows. Keep that spine nice and still as you land those hands. Squeeze shoulder blades and then reach straight back. Keep reaching straight back, straight back, straight back. It should feel like you're pushing an imaginary weight.
And everybody keep that belly button drawn in and the ribs drawn down. It's very tempting. Anytime we work that back space is to get overexcited about extending and back bend.
Jesse's got a timer on. Just
we got finish the rep you're on.
Keep working. If you're doing these right, they should be hard. Should be sweating.
All right, finish that rep. Good. All right, shake it off.
Right? Feeling the front of your shoulders?
So that's the first round of our swimmers. Now, we're going to go to a sideline position and we're going to toast and we're going to warm up those hips.
Oh, 7-way hips.
We're going to be nice today and we're only doing 5 reps of each rather than the 7 or 10 that we usually do. We got some new people in the room.
All right, 7-way hips.
So quickly before, just so everybody can see, they're called 7-way hips because there's 7 movements, okay? So movement number 1 is straight up. Movement number 2 is straight forward, keeping that leg parallel to the floor. Movement number 3 is back and slightly up, like you're trying to squeeze your butt, extending that hip. Movement number 4 is putting those last 2 together. So you're going all the way forward and all the way back. Okay, that's 4. 5 is circles. 6 is circles the other way. And 7 is pedaling the invisible bike. So like you're using one leg. So that's the 7 movements. We're going to do 5 reps of each one of those. Sian is leading. You're following her pace.
No speeding up.
No speeding up, no racing to the end. And we're doing all of them on one hip before we turn over to the other side and do the other hip.
If you need to see, feel free to change the angle of your mat. That's fine, guys. Little tip, little caveat. Straighten your leg. Try to keep it straight. So I always imagine that I'm pushing something away. And then also, if you can manage this, think internal rotation of the hip. So my heel is trying to be higher than my big toe, and I'm initiating that from my hip. Okay, that's like the extra cherry on top if you can find that.
I'm not gonna like be criticizing anybody for keeping their foot parallel, but I will come if I see your toe getting higher than your heel. all right? So I want flat, like your toe and your heel on the same plane, or your toes slightly lower than your heel.
Do the best you can. All right. From here, we're going to start with that straight pulse up and down. So we're going 5. Try not to throw the leg. 4, 3, 2. Keep reaching through the leg.
Explore the biggest range of motion you can.
And 1. And then we're going to go forwards. Try to find a stretch through the hamstring. 1. Again, control. We're not throwing the leg. 2, 3. Forwards. 4. And 5, and then we're going up and back. I'm imagining my heels trying to touch the wall behind me. 1, 2, you're looking for your glute here. 3, 4,
Keep that leg nice and straight. Squeeze your butt.
5, and then we're combining those two movements. So we're going all the way to the front, all the way to the back. That's 1 rep.
Should be getting warm.
All the way to the front, all the way to the back. That's 2 reps. Everybody straighten your legs. All the way to the front and to the back. 3, 4. Yeah, I'm hearing all the right noises. 5. And then we're going to lift up back into that first position, and we're going to draw circles. So imagine you had a pen sticking out of your heel, and you're trying to draw a perfect circle, like nice and smooth.
12 inches, like a dinner plate.
That's 4. That's 5. And then switch direction. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're pedaling an imaginary bike. If you can, keep that internal rotation. So my knee is slightly closer to the ground than my foot. 3.
Hopefully you're feeling a nice campfire in that butt cheek.
4. Yeah, you should be able to fry an egg on your outer hip right now. 5. There we go.
Perfect. One side down. Take a second, shake it out, and then roll over to the other side.
Feeling this stuff?
So the only thing I saw on the first side that I'd like you all to pay attention to is that when you're going through these ranges of motion, don't just quit when it starts to get a little bit tight. Like some of you, I know you don't have a lot of abduction, you might not have this much, but every single time you lift through any one of these ranges of motion, you're always trying to go through your individual fullest range of motion. So a lot of you, when we went to we got to number 4, in number 1 you were getting your leg here, and number 4 you were like your range of motion was like this. So we want to try to make sure we get as big a range of motion as we can with every single one of those reps.
See you, Jillian. Take care. All right. All right,
Ready.
number 1, straight up and down. Ready? And go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, to the front, as far as you can go. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Be in control of the leg.
5, to the back. 1, make your glute do it, not your lower back. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then front to back.
So here,
1,
and to get that full butt squeeze at the back.
2,
Keep that leg nice and straight if you can.
3,
Seeing lots of slightly bent knees. See if you
4,
can squeeze that quad.
and 5. All right, coming on back up to position 1, draw me circles. I don't care which direction, just make them nice and smooth, nice and round. 3, 4, 5, switch. 5, 4, straight leg.
Knee nice and straight.
3,
Reach through the heel.
2, 1, and then ride the bike. Try to keep your heel higher than your knee if you can. 1, 2, 3,
I love the faces.
4, 5. All right.
Okay, we're not done. We're just done round 1. So we've connected, we've expanded, we've learned the movements for strengthening. Now we're gonna do We got at least enough time for one more round of each one of these. So we're gonna come back to our back and do that back body line drill. Again, our biggest number one focus is don't let your lower back pop up off the floor. We're doing 30 seconds. Ready. It's because it's so much fun, Ricky. All right, ready? Set, lower your arms first, and then put your legs in the position that you can work your hardest at. Chin can be tucked, but it doesn't have to be. We're working the core, we don't have to work that neck so hard. Try not to push out through your belly button, try to keep the belly rather tight. The strongest core is the one that can find the balance between the diaphragm expanding and the abs and transverse abdominals contracting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come on out of there. Standing up or kneeling or sitting up tall, we're going, actually not sitting, so let's stand. We're going into those, straight into those swimmers. Again, Sean shouldn't have to explain them in detail. We're just going straight into the timer. We got 1 minute. Ready, set, and go.
The way to make this a hard set, guys, is to always think about your hands reaching for the back of the room.
Think about
except when they finally land on your body. Reach.
There, and then up. Roll, 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 roll. Roll, 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 roll. Don't back bend. Bend the elbows.
Get them as high as you
You're trying
can.
to touch here again.
Reach.
Again. And then back, and then out. Straighten. Yep. No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, you're doing fine. And then just nice and in control. No, it's just got to work on that control. It's okay. Just go nice and slow. And always, you're going from a bent elbow, but you're always extending all the way to fully straight, rotating. Then when you can't move any farther, then you bend the elbows again. Again, don't overuse that back extension. Abs are tight. 3, 2, 1, and finish up. All right, we are going to do a second round of seven-way hips.
Right leg.
It's okay. Hey, at least we didn't bring ankle weights today.
Yeah. That'll be
so
another
next week we have a special setup for you next week for your hips. So remember right now that you don't like seven-way hips, and then next week we'll talk about seven-way hips again. All right. Same thing, 5 reps of each. This is the last round of seven-way hips you have. We'll probably do another round of the back body line and the shoulders, but this is the last hip one you have to do.
Ready, set, and up for 5, 4, 3, 2,
straighten that leg.
1, and forwards for 5, 4,
keep that quad
3,
fully flexed. That means no bent knees.
2, 1, and back and up for 5, 4, 3, 2,
You'll have better balance if you bend this bottom knee.
1, and then put those 2 together, forwards, front to back. That's 1. That's 2, don't rush ahead. 3,
Core is tight all the time.
4, and 5. All right, back up to position 1, draw circles. 1, 2, 3, see if you make your circles prettier. 4, 5, perfect circles, switch, straight legs. 1, 2, 3, good, control. 4,
Toes down.
5, good, ride the bike. 1, 2,
Nice
3,
big stride with this pedal.
4, 5.
Nice. All right. You guys are making it warmer in here. Second side, last round on the hips.
All right, nice straight leg, ready? And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To the front.
Squeeze out every millimeter.
5, 4, 3.
Bending the bottom leg a bit more will give you a bit more balance if you feel like
2,
you're rolling a lot.
1, and up and back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Front to back. Keep the core nice and tight. 1, 2.
Quad's cramping. Keep that quad nice and tight.
3, 4, and 5. Good. And then back up to position 1. Nice smooth circles. 5, 4. Imagine you're painting a picture. 3. Look at your heel. Try to make it smooth.
Reach to the heel, not the
5.
toe, if you can.
Switch. 5,
Draw with the heel.
4, 3, 2, 1. Ride the bike.
Oh, 5 away from being done this one.
2,
Keep going, you can do it.
3, 4, 5.
Nice. Okay, take a second.
Well done, everybody.
Don't stand up. Shake it out those legs because we're gonna do one more round of our back body line drill and one more round of our swimmers with our shoulders.
All right. Straight onto your backs, guys. Grab a block if you need it.
This is it. We're in our last stretch.
Stretch.
I mean, not stretch, but the stretch of the class. All right, ready? Set and find that position. Make it challenging to keep your back on the floor, but keep it on the floor. Ribs stay tucked. Belly is tight. I don't want you to feel this in your lower back at all. I want that lower back only to feel the pressure of the ground. All the burn, all the difficulties in the front. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Whew. All right, stand on up for the last round of swimmers, and then you guys are free of us for the day. All right. Take a second, breathe, stand tall. Again, the only thing, I keep seeing it, and I'm just gonna keep reminding everybody, don't let that extension overpower you. Keep your abs really tight.
Imagine you've got like a piece of fishing wire goes from your pubic bone to your lower ribs, and it's always pulling tight.
Yeah. Okay, ready, set, and begin. Good.
Nice. Straight arms in this position, guys. Good. They bend here.
It's always tempting to think about your hands anytime your shoulders are moving. But can you build a better relationship with the upper arm? Think about your elbow or your bicep or your tricep and try to use those as mental landmarks instead of the hands. Belly tight. Imagine my 5-year-olds running around and giving everybody pot shots every once in a while right in the stomach. You gotta keep those abs on. There we go. Keep sending those arms towards the back of the room. Oh, saved by the bell. Finish the rep you're on.
Done.
And all done.
Well done, gang. All right.
Yay, we made it through. That was week 1 of wave 1.
Any questions, guys? Come up.